Hey everybody, welcome back to Bitcoin and Altcoin Trading Talk. This is episode 6. My name is William Kale, co-founder of Coinigy.com. And let me actually tweet this link out. Forgot to do that. We skipped the intro today, had some technical issues with it last time, and figured it would just be a little bit better to get into the webinar. So. And once again, we're back with, now I can hear it in my speakers here, 1 second. I'll never get this intro down, I swear. Nobody's watching right now anyways. So.
Yeah, they don't see the intro when they play it.
Yeah, we'll cut this out. We'll edit this out and post-edit or whatever they say. So, welcome back again. William Kale here. Rob Borden's joining me from Coinigy as well. And then we have JC, James Crowther from Crypto Elite. And as usual, we have Julian Speranza from The Rational Investor and Brian Beamish from The Rational Investor. Going to do, the usual, kind of go through a couple news articles, do some Coinigy updates, platform updates, and then get into the Altcoin 5. Got a great show planned for you tonight, so how's everybody doing out there now that another successful botched intro?
We're rolling right along, finally.
Exactly. So,
well. Brian, are you out there,
folks?
Is that what I'm supposed to talk? I don't have my cue cards in front of me.
Anytime, Brian. You chime in whenever you feel that's necessary.
All right. Fantastic intro. Way to go. Woohoo! We're gonna win an Emmy. I wonder when Emmys are gonna start for YouTube. You know they're gonna come. At some
there's
point.
There's already, I think, YouTube awards or something, but
is there? We gotta win those, man.
I don't know. I think the second we're mentioned for a YouTube award is the time to stop.
Ah.
No, we gotta come up with a more interesting name like PewDiePie. Those are the only ones that get. They're the only ones that get on YouTube celebrity channels.
Yeah, maybe we could actually talk to him about actually getting a PewDiePie pop-up window on Coinigy, so he'll, announce PewDiePie whenever you place a trade or something like that.
Sounds like it
pretty
makes
sweet.
it, I don't know why it sounds like PewDiePie. I don't know if I want us to be associated with that.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going. Are we talking about crypto tonight?
Yeah, it sounds like we're really going to keep it on track tonight.
We're very casual.
Getting off to a really good start.
I was informed earlier that I had to keep on task and keep on time.
Yeah. And now who took us off track?
Yeah,
totally my fault. I admit it. All right, so why don't we jump into the news here?
Let's do that.
Down in Australia.
What's in the
Hey
news?
everyone. Hey.
How you doing there, Slick?
Hi, I'm back.
Yes, you did.
I'm glad to be here again.
Yeah, thank God after my debacle last weekend. Last week, I need you back.
No, seriously, you guys are doing a great job here. Love being here. So thanks a lot for having me back. So yeah, you guys know me as JC, otherwise known as Crypto Elite on Twitter. I'm a site member of The Rational Investor, alt trader, and aspiring anchorman.
Aspiring?
You are an anchorman.
You are the anchorman, man, whether you like it or not.
I'm taking over the news.
Right.
So guys, a lot of this week's been the big week, the big news, all going off in Europe with the Greek news, terrible news actually. It's been on the papers a lot, it's been on the news, even the Altcoin and Bitcoin media outlets are all reporting it. So they're all talking about the Greek crisis, and they're all reporting on how this crisis is leading to an increase in the Bitcoin prices. Frankly, to me, we're talking about Greece, $100 billion gross domestic product country. So you think about 1%. If 1% of Greece funds or assets were coming into Bitcoin, I think the price will be rising more than 10%. So we're talking about Bitcoin here, small market cap, $3.5 billion. But to me, I think we should be really cautious here. This is not a sort of buy the rumor type event. No doubt that there are lots of things with Bitcoin that are being touted around Europe, and I think there's definitely been an increase in funds coming in, but this is not going to be the be all and end all, the catalyst event that's going to take us mainstream. So I think we should be cautious of that, really. It has been reported in lots of media outlets that the number of IP addresses that have been tracked by some of these exchanges have increased. I mean, we're talking about percentages here from a very small base as well, so something to bear in mind, really. What do you guys think? I mean, what else could be contributing to this this increase in price recently? Are you seeing sort of anyone think China might have something to do with it?
Well, first things first, I mean, it is definitely a tragedy, and as much as I want to see Bitcoin, being adopted and moved into the mainstream, I hate reading posts on Reddit about people just like, oh yeah, it's time, Greece finally is failing, like, woohoo, Bitcoin, it just irritates me. But I just wanted to get that out of the way. But.
Well, the interesting thing with that, right, from my perspective, is I teach people that we trade setups. We don't trade opinions. We don't get wrapped up in FOMO. We trade setups. And what I found interesting is ahead of this event, we had 2 or 3 very good-looking long setups come in on Bitcoin. So I kind of think that the market already kind of had anticipated this coming. A couple comments that I would make about recent action. I guess the first was that I saw people posting that the sheer volumes of purchases of Bitcoin coming from across Europe is what's driving this. And I was looking, it was interesting, with one student today, I was looking at Bitcoin volumes on, say, something like Bitfinex versus Bitcoin volumes on Stamp. And I think, Will, you had told me earlier today that euro-denominated Bitcoin volumes are coming in very strong versus, say, US dollar-denominated Bitcoin.
Yeah, that was on the on Coinigy's overview page. I just caught it. I did the 7-day volume differential, basically. So the previous, or I should say, the most recent 7-day period outperformed the prior 7-day period by almost 50% on a lot of the BTC Euro markets.
Yeah, I guess the message that I'm hearing, and this is very typical, right? I think what you are having, and JC, you kind of mentioned this before, is maybe this is the buy the rumor, right? And hopefully, hope, Greece, its situation does resolve for the better. But I would believe that a lot of Europeans are kind of looking at Greece and saying, well, if it can happen to Greece, then maybe it can happen to us too. And we're almost getting that sort of knee-jerk reaction of sort of, getting swept up in the rumor of this. This is entirely opinion, but it's my belief that I don't believe that Europe really wants to let Greece go. And if they do, they're kind of opening up a Pandora's box of unknowns. So opinion-wise, I'm leaning towards that everything will be resolved at the end of the day, and then you might get sort of that sell on the news event. So this referendum is supposed to be coming up on, is it this weekend? I think it's supposed to be the 5th or 6th. Really, I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of a vacuum into that event. We might see.
Who's holding the actual referendum? I mean, is it like just the heads of all the European countries? Or?
No. It's
just
within
Greece,
right? Okay. And that's it. In my tweets earlier, and for people that follow me on Twitter and stuff, my tweets earlier on, I've been saying, it's so sad because this didn't have to happen. But basically, this current political system, what do they call them? The socialists that are in charge of Greece right now, They basically spent the past 9 months doing pretty much nothing. And then at the very last moment, they just punted and said, we'll just leave it up to a referendum. And so all in all, the Greek politicians, they basically just stopped the creditors, but at the end of the day, they didn't actually solve any problems. So you feel kind of badly for the Greek people. This is a crisis, in my opinion, that didn't need to happen. But that's not much you can do about it. It's happening. And then if we look at it from the broader context, I often talk about seasonality, sell in May and walk away. And usually in the market we get a bottom, usually the first or second week of July. And I see absolutely nothing out of the ordinary here. Just business as usual. And so if you look at something like the Dow or something, the market was right up at its highs in May, and they've just worked it back down to like the 200-period moving average now, and into a very interesting technical zone where I kind of feel like that's where the institutions, the big boys that really run this market, they kind of wanted to take the market down there anyway. And so this just happened to be a nice, convenient excuse. So
that's nice analysis.
Well, news events didn't really sort of affect, positive news events didn't really affect the price of Bitcoin over the last sort of 8, 9, 10 months. So I think it's interesting now that we're seeing news events and the price actually react in a positive way. To me, that it sort of, it may be that a lot of the weak hands have been flushed out, and I think, like Brian said, that the charts were saying that the bottom was coming, or a bottom was in, and we just needed that bit of news just to sort of kick things off. I think if we read between the lines here, the Greek people, the Greek nation, isn't renowned for its sort of technological innovation, and I think 95% of Greeks, if you asked them what Bitcoin was, would be like, what the hell? I have no idea. So I think we've got to read between the lines here that it's not necessarily Greek people buying Bitcoin because they think that the euro's going to be replaced by Bitcoin. I think we need to understand that yes, there may be some new investors coming in, but it's dribbles and drabbles. It's nothing. As what the media are trying to report. They're just trying to fill their pages with lines, and I think we just need to be reminded of that.
I do like your statement, though. I mean, Bitcoin itself has basically been in an 18-month bear market, right? And we sort of felt like back through the winter that the altcoin market was just washed out. I'm kind of feeling like that's a pretty good statement that you said. I think anybody that was going to sell Bitcoins, they've either done so or maybe they're even short. And I agree with you. What's really interesting is a year ago when I asked people what Bitcoin was, not many knew about them. It's interesting, when I go out into society now, people actually have heard of Bitcoin. They're not long. They're like, oh yeah, I think I remember hearing about that. So here in Vancouver, I actually see the basis for a new bull cycle. I'm not guaranteeing the floor here, but technically speaking, I like where we are. I like to see the price action. I like to see that, hey, whether it's Greece or whether it's the pigs nations of Europe worried that they're going to be the next Greece, whether it's China doing more QE and providing a whole bunch of liquidity to the market. I thought it was really interesting. China went and cut interest rates on a Saturday of all days to do it. That really surprised me. So in essence, I'm kind of feeling like, we've been through the winter, and it was a nasty, nasty winter there. Bitcoin's price itself fell by like more than 80%. Right? That's a pretty big drop. And I think that, I don't know whether this is the start of a new bull market, but I definitely think that we were long overdue for some sort of bounce. Let's hope we can continue seeing higher highs and higher lows. That's all I want to see.
Right on.
What else we got in the news?
Well, that's it really. The news has just been dominated by Greece, really. So that was my main comment. Has anybody else seen anything interesting?
I'll just say I thought it was interesting. Our Forex commentary. We did a video. We do a video for our site and for the. I don't. Is it on YouTube? Is it advertised, JC? I don't even know. But anyway,
I think it is available.
I thought it was really interesting. One of our commentators made that the similarity between the silver market and Bitcoin. I thought that was really interesting. And ironically enough, our general consensus through that Forex show that we did was, maybe we should just leave everything alone until this is over. Right? And the Forex markets, they've been all over the place, haven't they?
Yeah.
Pretty volatile lately, huh?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent there, but long and short of it is, I think the commentary that we generally had about the Forex market was it's going to be really wild here until this Greek referendum's out of the way. Maybe we ought to just let things settle down. And I think, when it comes to crypto, we might want to, especially if you're highly leveraged trading, you might want to just cool your jets until this Greek stuff is out of the way.
Cool.
So,
well,
William,
I guess we can transition into some Coinery speak on that talk. Talking about cooling your jets as far as crypto. What better site to figure out where to cool and where to heat things up?
Yeah, there are some really cool altcoin stories. You don't have to be buying Bitcoin right now. There are some other really cool charts, and we'll get to those in a bit too.
Definitely, yeah. Stay tuned. Altcoin 5 coming up. So yeah, we'll just dive into a little bit of the Coinigy stuff here. Just wanted to kind of show everybody what we've been working on. So we have this new app. Basically, we're going to start kind of building out individual apps, whether they be trading signals, really anything you can think of. We have a couple things in the works, but right now we wanted to show everybody what we've been working on in terms of arbitrage. So we have, quite a few users have reached out to us asking, are you guys able to implement either some kind of a solution for arbitrage directly or just some kind of an indicator for arbitrage? So we're starting basically with an arbitrage indicator. And I will show you that now. We call it the ARB matrix. Let me click here. So this is it. It's going to take a second to load because I'm running a local server here. So basically, what we have here is the ARB matrix. What you see is a list of the exchanges down the left and the top. The left side in white is the current price. Above that and below that, it shows the current top current top bid and the amount, the quantity tied to that bid. And then on the top here we have the lowest ask and the quantity tied to that with the current price. So each of these squares in between show you the ask versus the bid, and then we show a differential. Right now I have it set to percentage. We're also going to show the spread there and some other different things. So right now you can see, for example, if you were to buy Bitcoin on Bitfinex and sell on HitBTC, you're going to gain a 15% gain off of that. We also have some sorting here. Got some kind of fancy stuff going on. You can rearrange everything. Can zoom in, you can zoom out. Basically what's going to happen, the next step is you're going to click, let's say, actually we have it right here. I have API accounts attached, and the yellow boxes shows me where I actually am currently holding funds. So in theory, if I wanted to, I could click right here and immediately place a buy on Bitstamp and immediate sell on Bitstamp, or immediate buy in Bitfinex and sell on Bitstamp. Well, that would actually not gain me anything. Bad example. But basically, you'll be able to click on an exchange right here. This is still in development here, but basically you'll be able to just immediately place a buy order or a sell order directly. And some nice stuff so you can zoom in and out. You can switch markets. We have this active for every single market that we support. So I think, Rob, how many markets are we at right now? I think about 1,500 or so.
Yeah, I don't know. It varies. Probably around 1,000 right now, active.
Right. So those of you who have been kind of looking for a solution to arbitrage, especially on altcoins, I know there's not really a lot out there. There's a lot of BTC arbitrage stuff out there, but for like really obscure altcoins, like I don't know, give me an altcoin, Brian. What do you have your eye on lately?
Actually, pull up XDN.
XDN, okay. I don't know how many exchanges it's actually on. Yeah, see, it's only on 2 exchanges, but you can see it right now.
You even get those.
Say that again?
It's interesting that you would get that.
Yeah, I mean, every coin every market is available here. So if you did have a balance on both Poloniex and HitBTC, we're going to give you the option to basically immediately market buy and market sell, and it'll match the order quantity, and we'll also tell you, the next lowest bid and the next highest ask.
Does it
how much you'll actually
size?
be able to fill.
Does it say the size of the bids and asks?
Yeah, right here. Let me zoom back out for you. So right here.
If it's just a fraction of a BTC, it might not be worth it, eh?
Right. So right here, this gray. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Yeah. So that's the current size of the bid, and then that is the price of the bid. So we're going to have this alternate between both currencies as well.
Does your system, is it going to, will it filter? Like maybe there's 0.001 BTC bid, and there's a tenth of a coin on the offer, right? Is it going to match those sizes so when you place the order, you don't aren't thinking that you're going to be able to get 10 filled on the sell side because there's only a tenth of a coin bid, right?
Yeah, that's the idea. So basically, when you click on a market, what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to give the option, it's going to just start off with exactly what's available on for quantities for the bid and the ask, basically. This is just dummy data right here. This isn't. Yeah. And you can either modify that, change it. We're also going to show you, the next highest ask, how many coins you're holding, and then how much it will take to fill, basically, for both sides of the trade.
Cool.
So, and again, we have the chat app open in Hangouts. So if anybody has any questions, comments, criticisms, really appreciate it. We're just kind of trying to be a little creative here, coming up with some cool stuff. So yeah, Rob, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
Not really. I think it looks pretty cool, and I just wanted to say that, it's still a big time work in progress, and like William said, any feedback you want to give.
Yeah, we really want to hear from users, as to how we can make this better. So,
some of your questions, Brian, that's some of that stuff are details that obviously we have to work out still because it's all, a work in progress still.
Yeah, so my feedback would be have a, a form that someone could fill out. And on that form should be what would be the minimum size that you would be interested in doing, and then that way it would filter out. If we had that example where there was 10 Bitcoin worth of whatever on the offer, but only a tenth of a bid, and if somebody wanted to, do an arb trade of say $1,000 or something, they couldn't do that, right?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. If we could actually show your all of your balances somewhere and kind of.
Well, if any, like I said, I'm just giving feedback. You could give the user a filter, right? And then, you said these were percentages. Is that right?
As of right now, yeah. We're also going to show, the spread and possibly some other data there.
So maybe you could give your users the ability to say, show me only ARB opportunities where I can realize a 25% gain on the trade.
Yeah, that's definitely in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to remove some of these squares, basically, by some kind of threshold.
Cool.
Cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Coinigy updates this week. As usual, we're grinding away on adding new exchanges and new features and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I guess we can kind of jump into the Altcoin 5 here, hey?
Sounds like a plan. Brian, you're going to give us the lowdown on the technical analysis?
Okay. I guess that was just volunteered. All right, away we go. So, I will try my best to stay within the time limit. We do have some helpers here that are going to try and help me stay focused here. We got a long list to go through, so let's get started. We put out these tweets just asking for people's requests, what they would like me to take a look at. And so the first request that we got was on this NAV. Any of the group want to chime in on the fundamentals of this thing?
The only thing I know is it's called Navcoin. I really know nothing else about it, but I will Google it while you're talking about it.
Okay. What can we say about this? When I look at a chart, hopefully, watchers of my videos will appreciate that, this is the kind of action I want to see if I'm going to be an interested buyer. I like to identify ranges, and what I liked about this one is you can see it came down and then it established through this pretty big, this is what we call a wick on this candle right here. It established top end of the range, and of course this is what we call a tail. And really that really defined the trading range for quite some time. Those people that listen to me and my sort of prognostications, I'm a very big fan of what we call market structure. I don't know why that's going all squiggly. Here, let's get rid of this. So hopefully what you can see is sort of nice WE action in here, right, where we tested these lows repeatedly and then turned up and moved away. Nice big volume bar here, and you can see our on-balance volume indicator went nutso here. So what's really interesting is that, even while price was contained in this channel, we were getting signals that somebody was taking a big position. And it's interesting, in our school programs, we just did a module on volume. Anybody who's in the school, and of course Jonathan, this is probably right down your alley. This was a very, very powerful signal on this little altcoin. So, we're not in that kind of market now. We'll get to our present market. But in the future, try and remember this, guys. If you see this kind of range established, and then you see a big volume push, odds are something is brewing, right? Somebody's taking a big position here. And sure enough, it broke out. Nice W's, nice volume. Momentum even looked pretty attractive here. Nice breakout. Away we go. The great part about investing in venture capital is sometimes these things just go on and on and on and on. And you can see a nice long, this is what we call a narrow sideways channel. When we broke out, right, you can see we even consolidated a little bit, and then we went busting out through the ICO highs here, right? So a nice bullish trend. Sadly, of course, this is probably when the public got most interested up here. But if we apply our sort of same principle that we were only interested in buying this thing after it had come down and washed itself out, then hopefully you guys can understand there's just no way I could be a buyer up here. Now, what's interesting is very similar to this range setup that they did previously. You can see that they've gone and done the same thing here. Look at this huge wick up here, and then this huge tail down here. So these purple lines now represent the current trading range. Pretty wide range, right? What's interesting is if we apply the basic principle that we're going to try and buy against lows and sell against highs, you can see when we do our nice simple fib study that this range, the 61.8 to 78.6 fibs, or what we like to call the reload zone, it's getting some interesting activity in here. You know, trade location wise, this isn't a bad idea to go nibbling in this area. The only problem I have is that if you do take this trade, then that means you have to risk against these lows. This kind of, you know, considering the time of year that we're in, I'm a little concerned that, you know, maybe we need to just drift our way back down and check this old breakout high. I'm watching this candle high, and remember our current trading range wick tail low, right, to see how price acts around that level. And interestingly enough, you can see they brought price right down to that level. Nice little bull rammy here. This is a candle pattern that we would trade. And we got a counter trend rally. I don't really have enough anecdotal evidence from either momentum or volume to suggest that I should be betting the farm here. I don't mind taking a nibble, right, and with the understanding that you got to be able to handle risk down to these lows. But I certainly don't have a bet the farm here. If I started to get some WE price action coming out of this reload zone, say nice clotheslines up in here, then I could start thinking about, you know, actually considering this thing trending in earnest. So, all in all, NAV, it's not in a trap scenario, so I like that. It is in an interesting trade location, but I don't have enough anecdotal evidence here to support me, you know, pounding the table to buy this. So that's number one down. Interesting story. I'll keep an eye on it, and I'm going to be watching price action closely for confirmation of a trend. Right. On to the second coin. Oh,
what are we doing next?
Somebody want to chime in here?
Which coin are you doing next?
SYS.
Ah, Syscoin.
I think Rob, you had found out something about this earlier.
Yeah, Syscoin has like several services that they run on their blockchain. Basically, one of them is like a payment address alias service, I guess, where you can give like a simple name to a wallet address, basically, kind of like a domain name, so that it's easy to, you know, allow people to pay to that address, basically.
Yeah, I've been hearing lots of positives about this.
Yeah, they also offer the ability to store up to 250 kilobytes of data on their blockchain. And the main one is some sort of decentralized marketplace. So
that's actually a lot of data. I thought you said 260 bytes earlier, but no, 250K is actually a lot of data.
Yeah, and their main service is a decentralized marketplace. You're supposed to be able to exchange goods and services across their blockchain in some way. I don't know enough about it to really elaborate on how that all works, but.
All right. Well, interesting
the
looking
technical
at this.
analysis.
Sorry?
I was just saying, let's check out the technical analysis on it.
All right.
I'm interested to see what you think.
Interesting thing about this one is, you know, and this is sort of the vulgarities of crypto. I really don't know what happened here, but you can see whatever this was, ICO or whatever you want to call it. It actually did trade. I mean, look how high this goes. It's just ridiculous how high it goes, all the way up to here.
Wow.
So if this thing ever does get its act together, it's got a long, long, long way to run, right?
You know, I often wonder if, I mean, when these ICOs happen, I wonder if that's just one lone trade, you know, the first trade of the market, maybe.
Well, no, because it opened up here, right? So, and you know, really, as you can see from my chart, I've just sort of blotted that out. I said, you know what, let's not get wrapped up in that, because if we do go off of that high, the upside numbers get ridiculous here. So let's just try and keep this nice and simple for you guys. This was the counter trend rally peak after this ICO date. You see where it ran up here and it stopped. So if I want to use this as my ceiling, we can use this crazy number, but if we do, the numbers just get astronomical, which of course the bulls love to hear. But, you know, just for our trading purposes and just trying to book nice, simple, easy profits, I'm going to use this high here, and that was 723. And, you know, you can see how the market came screaming right back down to 36 ticks, right? You know, this is what, about a 95% drop in market cap just from that high there, right? So they really washed this thing out. What I really liked about this is you see how it rallied right back. This is what we call our first stop target, 38.2 FIB. Rallied right up to there, and it stopped exactly like it was supposed to. This is Ray Burchett would look at this and go, wow, that's beautiful. And then you'll notice that it came back down, and when we draw our fibs off of that rally peak back down to the low, gee whiz, there's our reload zone, 61.8 to 78.6, and look what the market did. I mean, this is textbook, just absolutely beautiful. You can see that OBV turned in here. You can see that momentum turned in here. So there was a lot of appeal to owning this coin off of this double bottom. And when I saw this breakout happen on this day, I placed an order to buy at 156. I think I wanted to buy like 40,000 of them or some crazy number like that. I got filled on 8,000 coins, a quarter of my order. And my open order is still working to buy at 156 for the rest of my coins. So I thought it was interesting. Somebody asked me to comment on this, and so I actually have a direct interest in this. You see the bottom here, pretty good looking bottom. Market rallied up, making higher highs and higher lows, looking very positive. Thought it was interesting. We got up to Mountain Man level here, just underneath it, and you can see that the market, all these little wicks up here, you can see the market just simply ran out of gas, right? All these wicks, they just, and you can see that the actual buying volume had just kind of disappeared. And we talk about this in our program, the volume impetus. We can literally see the bulls backing away, and then the red bars starting to pick up. The bears are starting to come out, and that's kind of what price has done here, is just drifting right now. I thought it was interesting on this guy. If we draw a fib from the recent high back down to that 36 low, gee whiz, our reload zone just so happens to be right at the place where the bottom originally came in. How ironic that basically that's exactly where we're supposed to be a buyer. Can you guys still hear me? Oh, we lost JC?
Yep.
All right. When I hear that go clink, it usually means something happened, so JC just dropped out, eh?
Yep.
So, long and short of this is, I would like to be a coin order, and I still have my open order working, and I find it incredibly coincidental that my open order is still working at the original buy level, and that just so happens to be right in this optimal trade entry, or what I like to call the reload zone off of the fibs. So that's my comment on SYS. I am trying to be a buyer here.
So let's go ahead and go out and sell our Syscoin so Brian can buy her up.
Well, the interesting thing, right, is I'm willing to buy at about half of what the current market is. All right?
Okay.
So I could easily see this thing fall by 50% here to give me my nice fill. So I'm going to need some help here because, you know, frankly speaking, I kind of like the story.
It's going to take a little bit of work. It's got a $377,000 US market cap, so pretty significant in terms of alts.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna need some help here. It's gonna be tough for me to get my fill. I just have to be nice and patient, understand my trading plan and just let the market work. And you can see I've had this open order working quite a while. I got filled on 8,000, and you know, more than 3/4 of my order is unfilled, and I wouldn't mind getting a fill on it, but I'm not going to chase this thing. Okay, on to the next one. And for whatever it's worth, this is a very, very good looking chart. So now, can you guys see the W?
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Very good looking W.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we might even argue if we look at this like on a weekly chart, we might actually have a nice weekly turn in here too. So. Okay, the next one, VTC. Somebody asked me to look at VTC.
Ah, Vertcoin.
Yeah. This, unfortunately, and I often see this happen in crypto and in the junior penny stock market, where if markets go up too far, too fast, they're often likely to come screaming right back down to where they started from. So I don't really know the story on VTC, but I will say that technically when you get this kind of, this is by far the definition of market going parabolic, straight up, right? And what's really cool is if we just simply take our simple technical tools, the fib tool that we actually did a tutorial for you guys on, and we just drive from the high of the range back down to the low end of the range. In fact, I think we could even take this off of this low here.
Wow, Vertcoin has a $1.5 million market cap.
All right. Considering that must mean they must have a heck of a lot of coins outstanding.
Yep.
We'll just leave it at that. Right. So the bottom line here, guys, can you see that this area should have been a likely stopping point for the trade? All right. It should not have surprised anyone to see this thing, especially. We got 5 doubles off here. Bang, 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 bang. All in less than a month. In less than a month. That doesn't happen every day. Right? Here was our 6th double. I was wondering whether we were going to test this high and get our 6th double. But we got 5 doubles out of this bad boy. And now, sadly, like I said, quite often when they go up that fast, they ironically have to come right back down to the bottom. And, you know, I'll just finish this conversation on VTC with a look at cannabis coin. It basically did the exact same thing last year, right? These kind of moves just are not sustainable. And sure enough, it came right back down to where it started. You see that?
Yeah, wow.
So, if anything, this is the perfect testament to why you have to sell on the way up. If you don't sell on the way up, you may be looking at a home run that turns into a big hurry up and do nothing. So, this is an excellent, excellent reason why we must take profits on the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So where do you think VTC is going, Brian? I mean, do you think it's just going to continue to go down to earlier levels?
Well, until, I mean, 2 or 3 things have to happen here for me to get bullish again. Number one, I got to see some buyers come back. Where did all the buyers go? They're gone. Where are all the people that were all jazzed about it here? Where are they now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we got to see some buyers. And then at the same time, I want to see these sellers disappear. Really, to all intents and purposes, these, you know, maybe, you know, Polo likes to do margin trading now, right? So maybe there were some weak stops here, and maybe, and we saw this happen on Arch. Arch is a perfect example, right? Where when they take it down, they clean out all of these lows. Chun, 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 chun. Right back down to the original breakout. This is what's so sad about Arch, is that the smart money loaded up here. You can see them loading up here, right? And the sad part about it is the public buying Mobies got excited up here. And then they cut it apart, And look where they stopped this thing, right above where all the smart money went long. Do you see that? The smart money that went long off of this original double bottom, they didn't even take any heat. The market never even went negative for them. You see that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I was also fascinated by how quickly that data loaded. Somebody must be doing a good job over there.
Optimized. So with
Okay.
Vertcoin, it looks like they're using a
Right.
variation of script mining that has variable memory. It's supposed to help protect against ASICs, and it's supposedly right now the best way to mine it is with GPUs. So probably everybody that was mining a year ago with GPUs is mining
Oh, we
this now.
can put those 7950s to use again.
Yep, let's get them back to work. Blow the dust off.
All right. Well, a couple things that bother me here. Number one, this thing tried to bottom, right? And you can see, a huge head fake here, and then went to new lows, right? And then you can see that some cheeky fellow, or maybe a girl, who knows, put in a tight little bottom down in here, right? So you could actually argue that the bottom of this market is right there, right? You see where it went down, up, down, tested these lows, and then turned and went higher, right? I would hate to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if this thing needs to come back down into here.
Yeah, test that low, I guess.
Yeah, well, the original breakout, right, where all the smart money is long, right?
Right.
And my original purchase was right around this 4,000 area, right? So just like Arch, we might come right back down to the bottom here. Sucks, but that's a very definite reality.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, and the long and short of it here is this thing's making new lows. It was interesting. I talked to one student today, and he actually told me a problem that he has is buying catching a falling knife. He loves to short markets that rally, and then they run over him. Like, let's say he shorted here, and then a couple days later he's toast. And he likes to try and catch falling knives. Let's say he caught this falling knife, and boom, he's getting slaughtered. Like, as a technician, you guys know the concept of market structure. At the very least, I want to see some sort of W, right? We're not getting any of that kind of stuff here. Right? So, big hurry up and leave it alone.
All right.
Let it simmer.
Right, moving right along. Couple coins that I wanted to talk about because I thought they looked really interesting, and I've been sitting on a huge war chest of Bitcoin for a while from sales of like VTC and such, right? I mean, I was selling the whole way up here.
Hey,
So
Brian, can I cut you off for a second? Can you try something and try clicking the full screen button on the upper right of the chart? I'm just curious to see.
All right, you're gonna upper right.
It's of the chart. It's just to the left of the camera button, right
This
there.
one here.
Yep.
Okay. What did that
There
do?
you go. Well, now it might be a little bit clearer for people to see. I don't know.
All right, but now I can't flip back and see what you guys
Yeah,
are
that's true. You have
telling
to.
me and stuff.
Yeah, go ahead and get out of there then.
All
Actually,
right.
I think if you hit escape, it'll jump back out.
Because I do hear a magic tweet going off here, right? Okay. Where were we? Okay, a couple coins that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to leave the public input ones at that, right? We gave you 3 good ones. Good analysis, right? And I'm not quite sure what I've done here. Something's not right. But anyway, we're moving on. I wanted to weigh in on Litecoin. I thought it was really interesting. Are you guys with me?
We're with you. Another script coin. We were just talking about that.
Okay.
The 2014 miners were mining Litecoin. Now they're mining Vertcoin.
All right. The way I look at this is if Litecoin can ever get its act together, holy crap, is there a lot of money to be made here. All right. What I find really interesting, remember we talked about wicks and tails. It's interesting how they took this thing all the way down to 0.01244, right? And this is the US dollars. And it's interesting how they just slowly worked the market all the way right back down there. Isn't that incredible? Look at that, eh? And what I found really interesting is the sentiment on Litecoin is just stunningly bearish. People literally like hating this thing. I don't know whether you guys...
It's about time for it to turn around, I have to say. I mean, yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, Rob and I used to mine Litecoin way back in the day, and we've just we still keep an eye on it, and just watching it go down, down, down has been...
The first cryptocurrency I ever bought was Litecoin. I paid $34 for it on IRC.
Did you really?
Ouch.
It was only like probably, $50 worth or something. It wasn't a lot, but
that's a short-term trade that turned into a long-term investment.
Yeah.
All right. Just a point that I would make here. I'm absolutely stunned by the amount of negativity around this coin. However, we did start to hear ramblings about their payout halving by the end of the summer, and all of a sudden, Litecoin just came to life. I thought it was really interesting that some in the crypto community literally said, and I couldn't believe when I heard people say this, but they were literally like, Litecoin will never go above $2 again. And I was like, wow, that's a bold prediction. And obviously, they're making a monkey out of them right now, eh? So this is a good testament to never say never, right? Never say never. That used to be one of my favorite stock market lines. I thought it was interesting, from a trading perspective. While volume is still flowing in here, which is good, you can see that actually this is what we call a harmonic pattern, A, B, C, D. So it was really interesting that we hit a target up here, and a lot of people were like, okay, what's Litecoin going to do? What's Litecoin going to do? And I was kind of like, you know what? I think we're done. You notice that we're kind of up into some traffic areas now. If we do OTE, RLZ, right, all that kind of fun stuff, then you see just off of this rally peak, we're getting up into the area where pros may actually want to short this thing again. And I'm starting to hear chatter about, oh, Litecoin's not so bad, that kind of stuff. So it was interesting. Recently, I tweeted that one of the key principles of our courses is this concept of market structure. And you guys, I'm sure, have heard me talk about this ad nauseum. But this is a fantastic example where all you have to do is just follow the W's. I mean, this has got a funny tail right here. I don't know whether these are on the other exchanges. But if you are a trader and you're just hunting these little W's, they're just fantastic little trade entries. So, little day trader guy, that's a beautiful W in there. And you just buy on a breakout through this level here. And this is why I'm sort of really interested in Litecoin, especially if we go and look at it versus BTC. Look at these beautiful bottoms. I mean, I swear you could write a course off of this stuff. First off, right, look at this nice bottom in here. Down. Let's get rid of that. Up, down, and even a little one. Up, down, breakout, breakout. Right? Your stop below the W's. What's really interesting about this is your stop never got hit on this. Isn't this incredible? Look how it came down right to the lows, and lo and behold, look at what we had here. Just beautiful. Down, up, down, see you later. Beautiful W. Absolutely textbook. Now, those are your little trader entries, but can you guys understand? There are people that play the market off of higher time frames. They're called investors. And lo and behold, look at what we have if we go out to like a weekly price chart. Look at this W. Down, up, down, breakout. So, the long and short of it here, something significant is changed here. This is no longer a bear market. And I'm already long. I'm long from, I think I'm long from about 10.5. I've got orders working up in the 20s to sell half on a double, yada, yada, yada. You know my story. But frankly speaking, if you had missed the Litecoin rally, I really don't have a problem if you want to go in and throw stink bids in our OTERLZ. Right? I really don't have a problem if you want to go and throw in a bid and start buying some Litecoin in here. And look at the volume. I mean, money is pouring in again. Yay, Litecoin. So, really interesting developments here, right? Now,
Definitely.
I don't know whether this is, and in our course, we often talk about intermarket relationships. And so I think you can also take a message from this coin in that the intermarket relationship between number one, Bitcoin, and number two, Litecoin. And it was interesting because didn't we say XRP had surpassed Litecoin in market cap recently? I seem to remember we had that conversation a while ago.
It could be. I'm not sure.
And isn't that interesting how Litecoin's going, hey, wait a minute. And it's saying, I don't want to give up number two just so quick. And if we look at our intermarket relationship, what this is telling me is actually confirming what I've seen across the altcoin market. And that is that capital is starting to flow back into the junior names of crypto, right? I mean, we saw our VTC. That was ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple really powerful messages coming out of this Litecoin chart. So that's really why I wanted to mention it today. All right, just a couple more things, a couple buys that I've done. I talk a lot about other people's stuff, but I actually want to talk about something that I've actually been buying. You'll notice this is XC. One of our site members was kind of jazzed about it, and he asked me to look at it. And ironically enough, I mean, this isn't even the top. You want to see the top? There it is up there. But for these purposes of this, kind of like when we looked at that other coin, and I said, let's not use this blow-off top. Let's just use the most recent top, right? If we just go off of this most recent railroad tracks top, and that to me looks like a pretty solid top in there, then what we're really saying is this.
Ooh.
Still there, guys?
I'm still here. Do we lose Brian?
Yeah, I think we lost Brian.
Oh, mid-sentence.
Up in here.
Oh, and he's back.
I'm here. Let me
You're
know.
back. All right.
You can hear me.
Welcome back.
Oh, you can hear me now?
We can hear you now.
All right. What
Little
did
potty
I
break there?
Potty break? Well, I don't know what I last left off at.
You had just started talking about
Syscoin. You just talked about how it's coming off this most recent high that you were taking as your range and go from there.
This one here?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what I found really interesting about this one, like I said, one of my site members asked me to look at it. What I found really interesting is, and I see this a lot with these cryptos, right? This one came out when zooming up and really played around with these levels, and now we've come right back down to these original lows. In my opinion, this is the kind of market that you want to take a shot at. If you're going to risk your hard-earned money and you're buying cryptocurrencies, this is the kind of market that I like. I'm not necessarily saying it's you, but I like this. If I get a rally back to the OTERLZ bottom, I can actually realize 4 doubles from these levels. That's not bad, and that's not even assuming a new high. All I'm saying is just a retracement. I think what happens is we come back to 38.2, which is the test of these undersides of these lows, and I can get 1, 2, 3 doubles off just on that kind of move. If we zoom down in on, say, the dailies, what we see, right, is, look at this bottom. Not bad. Look at this. They came right down in here and turned it. And lo and behold, look where we are again. So I had somebody ask me about this. I saw where the location was. I see that internally. I don't really have a pound the table. You got to buy this thing. It's meh. No, there's not like we're riding on somebody else's coattails. We know that a big player's come in, but in my opinion, it's worth taking a nibble on this thing. And that's basically what I did. I bought like 3 or 4, tenths of a Bitcoin. Not a hell of a lot. I'm sitting on, over I think the better part of a full Bitcoin. I'm just waiting for ideas to invest in. And I'm willing to go and take a nibble off of these lows. I really like this chart. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I went and bought some of this. Not a hell of a lot, right? And in the write-up that I did for the site, I basically said, Crye's 2 rules of investing. Don't risk more than 5% of your stake on any one single investment. I'm nowhere near 5% of my altcoin portfolio on this thing. But I think I'm very, I took like a 2% nibble here. If it does have to work its way lower, I can be in a position to add to the trade. If it needs to rally straight from here, great. I'll just ride on the bandwagon. But I think this is a very interesting place to work some money, and I have gone and put my money to work here. I thought that was really interesting. And then another one, same sort of story, right? Look how high this bad boy was, right? Look at this. I mean, this is ridiculous. Look how high it is. It just keeps going. Look at this.
There's another one. That's nuts.
Look at this. It just keeps going. This is ridiculous. Look at this. It just keeps going. There's the top, finally, way up there, right? Now let's look at price. I can't even see it here. So
I just went on Bittrex to check it out, and they have a warning saying that the market is
low volume warning?
Yeah, it's in danger of delisting.
All right, and what's so funny is that
they're only on that exchange.
My site people, actually I think I bought here, not here. Not quite sure why it's showing that. My site people tell me, Brian, and I have a few altcoin traders that are just sharks. They're just beautiful. But they were telling me, Brian, that's one of the signs that we use to go in and start buying. And I had one. Remember, I asked you about that XDN, right?
Yeah.
That XDN, Bitrex did the same thing. And I transferred my coins over to Polo, and look what XDN did on Polo. I mean, it just went crazy. So, those low volume warnings, they're a bit suspicious in themselves. I often wonder whether Bitrex is doing that to try and just get some free coins. But, this on Polo here, and I don't know whether it's going to show it, basically Bitrex did, see the low volume in here? Bitrex did the low volume warning in here.
Oh yeah, so everybody moved over. Yeah.
Right, and they kicked him off the exchange, and then this thing went just crazy.
Yeah, I think that's just an unfortunate side effect. I mean, there has to be something cost-wise for like Bittrex and Poloniex to host specific markets, at least in server costs and maintenance, and keeping up to date with wallets has to be a nightmare. I know that much.
Oh man, I can't even imagine with devs just releasing updates
right, and then
whenever they want to,
and all this crazy stuff.
Having to make sure the coins all stay on the right fork, and you have to keep up with it and be right on top of it for 400 wallets.
It almost sounds to me like maybe they should create some sort of agency, like in the stock market. We have this thing called the Securities and Exchange Commission that takes care of all that stuff for the exchanges. So, this is unregulated, and I know all of the crypto people out in the audience just went, oh, my God, what did he just say?
Well, it's okay. Just store it on a blockchain.
Yeah, we'll create our own blockchain-based.
Wait, there's no reason why we couldn't create a blockchain for the compliance.
Okay, let's stop talking about it. We're getting off topic.
Okay, what was the question again? Oh yeah, you said that there was a problem with volume warning here, right? I don't really have that much of a problem, and I think, by all means, ooh, isn't that interesting? So we don't have an alternative to go and move these coins to. So, that's a good warning for the public. If you don't want to get into these monkey games of low volume warnings, maybe just leave this one aside. Again, with a guy like me, keep in mind how high this silly thing was. I am willing to buy a little bit against these lows. I haven't bought a hell of a lot, very, very small amounts of money, and very small relative to my oversized overall portfolio. And instantly on my fill, of course, I got my order working to sell half on a double. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out, but I'll go on record as saying I did go in and buy a little bit on this nice, and hopefully you guys can see, right?
Be interesting to see on their AND thread if they have any comments about trying to court other exchanges or what they're doing to try to get the volume back up.
Well, what you may find is, what's this? This is 523,000, right? I wonder. And where's on my screen? What was this? This was boom. So what do we got here on 24-hour volume right now? So right now we've got 0.325 BTC. So already it's getting up there, right? It has to have 7-day volume for the last 7 days exceed 0.2 BTC. Well, it's already done that. Do you guys see that?
Yeah, interesting.
So I don't think this thing's going to be delisted.
It's interesting they're showing that warning. I wonder if people just kind of use that as a signal to buy.
Well,
thinking people are going to try to save it,
Well, I would say if you got this warning and you didn't see the volume come in to bid it up, then probably, yeah, this thing's toast. And the fact that it isn't on many exchanges, that's a bit dangerous, right? But you can see, somebody's doing some volume here, right? And it wouldn't surprise me if the guys that are running this coin are like, oh shit, we can't take the chance of it being delisted, so go and do some business.
Making their own markets.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. So, anyway, the point that I'm trying to convey to you guys is and keep in mind, you got to understand in this game, to make money, you got to step in here and be able to buy the crap when nobody else wants it. The perfect example is when I bought that Dash, right? I bought this thing right here. And when I bought this, everybody and their brother was like, Brian, you're an idiot. You're throwing your money away. All right? Same sort of thing. Do you see the similarities?
Yep.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I was on mute there. Sorry.
All right. So how about the rest of you? Rob?
Oh, yeah. I'm
JC?
hanging tough, Brian.
So the point here is that quite often when I'm in buying a market, nobody else is interested in it. And quite often, like I said, kind of like that Litecoin, down here, people were making predictions that this thing was going off the board. Right? When ironically enough, this is the time when you should have said, you know what? Now is when it's worth me risking my hard-earned money. Okay, so I wanted to bring to your attention a couple stories that I've been buying recently that I like. As well, we took a look at Litecoin because I have a funny feeling there's a lot of information the market really wants you to know there. Then we also took a look at a few coins that people had asked by submitting. And thank you very much for your submissions. I think that was totally awesome. So
yeah, thanks everybody. Can't do it without you.
Yeah. So I think I'll be done for that. The only other thing I really wanted to bring to everybody's attention, and we'll do Bitcoin another day. This is Coinigy's all about altcoins, right?
Well, we got some Bitcoin tossed in there as well, too, Brian.
All right. You want to look at a Bitcoin chart?
We can
How
save
we doing
it
on
for
time?
next
Did we
time.
want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we're running over a little bit. We're going to try to shorten them up a little bit. So.
Okay,
Yep.
so the only other thing I wanted to do was Julian, my partner, has been working really, really hard at revamping our website. And he and another partner that we have working on the site are really, really working hard. And I just wanted to give him a couple minutes just to promote the site as it's going, and maybe just give us an update as to what are the kind of things that maybe we should be looking forward coming out of our site. Julian, do you feel like doing just a minute or two blurb on how the progress is going?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of computer trouble, but I think I should be able to. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick, give everyone a little quick preview of our site. I just gotta configure something to get rid of the web address. Hold on one second here. Just bear with me.
No problem.
Do 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 do.
While we're waiting, Brian, you mentioned something interesting about Coinigy being all about the alts or only for alts.
Maybe that was wrong. I apologize.
No, I just want to make it clear, that Coinigy works for all markets across the board. I mean, we have the same indicators, the same analysis, the same data integrity for Bitcoin, Litecoin, every market out there.
Yeah, and we have all the exchanges that only list Bitcoin, for instance, or Bitcoin USD markets like Coinbase, and Bitstamp. Those aren't, just altcoin exchanges by any means, but we list those with real-time data and all full features, like William said, just like everything else.
Cool, yeah. My apologies, audience. I didn't mean to infer that Coinigy was just altcoins.
No problem, Brian. I just figured I'd fill in the space.
You were just baiting us. You gave us an opportunity to plug it a little bit more.
Cool.
All right, so I'm ready to go. Can everyone see
All right.
We can see you.
Okay, so this is a quick little view of the new site. This is really just a back-end view. We're still working on it for about another month and a half. We're looking at launching in mid-August to late August, depending on how things work out. So you guys can see, here's our home menu. I'm not going to click around too much, but we're going to have an integrated chat. We've got, right now it's an external chat for anyone that's used our site. It's worked great. Thank you, Oscar. But we're looking at moving to an integrated chat so that when you go to the site or use mobile, it's right there. You don't have to go to a different location. And then the big thing that we're working on are market scanners, we're calling them. And you're going to be able to, we're not going to track everything, but we're going to look at, of course, BTC and a couple different, I think some things in, I'm not sure about Forex. I don't know if we decided on that. But definitely a couple things in the regular market, and maybe some altcoins in our future. Right now, we don't have it working with altcoins, but we could definitely do that. And what you're going to be able to do is you're going to get to choose a strategy. So you're going to get to choose if you want to be a trend trader. Well, we're gonna probably change that to an investor, like an investor signal. But trend trader works too. That's basically a very long-term signal, as if you were looking at like a weekly chart. We've got day trader signals. So right now we're only using that right now for BTC, but it could apply to things in the future. We'll have to see. This is a really brief preview of what's to come. So I'm just going to click on the swing trader. No, I'll do day trader just to show you kind of what it looks like and what we're putting together. So it's basically, here's the chat that pops up sometimes if you don't turn it off like I did. So here's what it's an algo that's going to send you emails if you choose to have those emails sent to you, and it's going to tell you pretty much when to buy and sell. So you can see that when BTC was going down, it opened the short here at 262 and closed it at 260. So we made a little bit of a profit there, all automated on its own. And it over here it opened along and then quickly closed it. And I hit like a stop loss that we have set, and it's just sitting. Again, this is still beta and still in the works, just so everyone knows, just quick preview.
That's really impressive, guys. That's pretty awesome.
We keep track of
the returns are sick, but you guys will see that later.
Yeah, we don't want to go into too crazy about that.
Yeah, really, all I wanted to do was just give Julian an opportunity to just, introduce the fact that we've got a whole bunch of really cool stuff coming down the pike.
Yeah, so I mean, as I was saying, so it's going to keep track of all of its trades, and we've got all the trade logs here, and we're going to consolidate this to be more readable and easier to look at in the future. But this is just what we have right now, and we're going to have what's going on right now as far as a buy and hold. So if you bought, say, you bought Bitcoin at the beginning of the year and you just held it, versus how the algo's done. So that's not filled in yet. Obviously, it's blank. But we're going to have all that so that you can, over time, hopefully come to trust the algo as it produces better and better returns than buy and hold. I'm sure there's going to be fantastic traders out there that are going to still be able to maybe beat it. But for people that are not interested in trading on a daily basis, this is a service that the rational investor is going to start offering come mid to late August. We'll also be offering free 30-day trials for anyone that wants to try it out and has doubts about, if this is going to really work.
Yeah, I mean,
that's about it.
The performance will speak for itself. Not really too concerned about that. But what this does is it gives the ability for people to take a little bit more passive role in their investing. Versus real nutso watching the screen 24/7. I mean, what's so cool about this is it just gives you a nice little alerts, and it's very user friendly. And on top of that, we also have an altcoin portfolio model that we're bringing out. We don't have it embedded on the site right now. We're working away on that. The great part about this algo, as Julian just sort of said, is that it is a time frame reference. So, and I think you guys heard me, or maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Really, the only difference between an investor and a trader is just the time frame that they're working off of. So what's really cool about this is you just basically apply it if you're interested in the stock market. We've got a huge universe that we're going to be following there, and you can apply it off of the same things. So I'm really, really impressed, and I know you guys are going to be so jazzed about this when the boys get it up and running.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can probably get to wrapping it up then. We're actually right on point to what our target time was.
Okay. Well, I'm
Amazingly.
done. Thank you, Julian, for showing everybody that.
Anytime.
And, I'm actually starting to get people reserving seats for the Q3 program for our school, which actually surprises me a little bit, but hey, they're showing up. So if you do have any interest in taking our school program, in fact, I don't know, JC, you're still around, aren't you? Jace,
I
are
think
you
he's
still
got
here,
mic
JC?
issues right now. I think he's just watching. But I can attest to, I've taken a few classes of Brian's, and I mean, even in the few classes I've taken, I see the markets a completely different way. So it's well worth the money.
Oh, cool. Thank you, sir. Well, I want to, and now we got to get Rob in here too, just so we can indoctrinate him on TRI speak. But anyway, just the point is, if you are interested in learning how to trade the way we trade and replicating exactly what I do, and the cool part about it, guys, people that are watching this video, the cool part about this is a lot of my students start off not knowing anything. And within 3 months, they're out there just tearing the market up. It's so cool. In fact, you guys can see my screen. There's Jonathan, my all-star. He didn't know anything about investing, and now he is an altcoin monster. He's just kicking the market's butt. So any of you can do this, and I mean anybody. And as I said, seats are already actually starting to be reserved. So if you are interested, you better get in touch with us soon. So. All right, I better stop talking.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. William, anything you want to say before we sign off here?
Nope. Good to go. Other than bring Boom back to life.
I like it. I was a buyer, and the cool part about it is I'm total full disclosure with you guys, right? I didn't have to tell you what I'm buying, but I told you 2 things that I'm bought today.
Right, exactly, and not a lot of people will do that. They'll tell you the opposite.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Always remember Yep, 2 weeks from today, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. All right, take care, everyone.
All right, good.